One.
All right, everybody, welcome to Get Fit for God. My name is Aaron Dixon. I thank everybody for showing up for our Wellness Wednesday. So I'm so happy that everybody showed up today. Today is a wonderful day for us to learn about health, nutrition. Wellness Wednesday is a day that we usually have a health professional or an influencer come on and talk about things that can inspire us for the Get Fit for God family. So I created Get Fit for God to put spirituality and fitness together as one thing because our bodies is a temple and it should be made to worship God. So we should be taking care of it. We should be using it to honor God. We should not be abusing it and trying to make it as fit as we can, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. All right. So I thank everyone that's joining us today. Um, Typically we do a workout and a Bible study, but again, today is Wellness Wednesday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and introduce our panelists today. I'm going to read a bio of our panelists today, and people are coming in. Forgive me, give me 1 second here. People are coming in. There we go. All right. All right, guys. So I want you guys to put your attention to Coach Jimmy Roenick. He is living proof that your past doesn't get a vote on your future. Um, once he was once bedridden, nearly 500 pounds, with severe congestive heart failure, and an injection fraction of just 20%. Jimmy was told that his life would be short and limited. Instead, he made a decision that changed everything. Over the last 20 years, he survived heart failure, lost more than 200 pounds, rebuilt his body, and forged a mindset he calls bedridden to bulletproof. Now he's 59 years old. Jimmy isn't slowing down. He's outworking people half his age, and his message is simple and unapologetic. Faith without action is just wishful thinking, and taking care of your body is a part of honoring God. On Get Fit for God, Coach Jimmy brings raw truth, hard-earned wisdom, humor, and spiritual fire, showing everyday people that no matter how broken you feel, discipline, faith, and relentlessness effort can rebuild a life stronger than ever. So everybody, I want to introduce you guys to Coach Jimmy Roenick.
Hey, thank you very much. That was a nice intro. So, yeah, you want me just to start with my story?
Yeah, go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right, man. So it's about 20 years ago. I think it's actually 19, but let's round it off. Feels better that way. I was very overweight. I was close to 500 pounds. Actually, 480 is where I was at. You know, when you're that big, you have a lot of problems. Breathing's difficult, your knees, your joints, everything hurts. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, man. I one day woke up, no apparent reason, and my legs had ballooned up to 3 times their normal size. You know, being a guy, I'm thinking to myself, I must have got bit by something. You know, they talk about denial. That's denial, man. That was, you know, there was no way possible there's any bug on this planet that could make that happen. But in my mind, I was looking for something that wasn't quite so scary as looking down and seeing my legs purple and bulging up like that. So I dealt with this for a couple weeks, and I had a young daughter at the time. She was about 7 years old. And every day I would drive her to school. And when I would drive her to school, I would walk her into her classroom and, you know, say goodbye to her. And that was like our thing. I did that ever since she started school. Well, for about 2 weeks, I would walk her into the school. And by the time I got her to her classroom, I was seeing stars. I was out of breath. I literally had to, you know, pretend I was okay, get her into her class. And I remember I had this little ritual I would do where I would stand there pretending to read the bulletin board that was across the street at the office, and till I could catch enough breath to walk back to my car and just kind of collapse into my car to catch enough breath to drive home. And this whole time I'm telling myself, I was a heavy smoker at the time, and I drank, and of course I was overweight. So this was are you guys still with me? Everybody still with me?
Oh yeah, we're all listening.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I did all the bad things, I everything I could do to basically kill myself slowly. I was involved, and I overate, I drank, and not proud, but I dabbled in some drugs, and these things always catch up with you. Well, this went on for a couple weeks with my daughter taking her to school, collapsing in the car. And I had already made arrangements to take her to the zoo with the class. They asked for parent chaperones. And I was living in Columbus, Ohio at the time, and I couldn't back out even though I was sick. So I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to fix this. So I loaded my pockets with those icy blue Hall's cough drops because I couldn't breathe. I'd walk 20 feet and I was out of breath. So I did that thinking, yeah, I'll make it through the zoo this way. I made it through the front gates. My heart was beating so fast, I had to sit down. Like the ground was coming up at me. Basically, I was in exacerbated heart failure to where I had to sit down. I had to wait. It took me about a half hour to get enough breath to get back to the next bench, to get back to the car, where they took me to Mount Carmel Cardiac Center, which don't know why they took me there because we really didn't know. We thought it was a breathing issue. But this is how, and it was my fault. I did it. I'm not going to blame anybody, but this is how bad things get. Like I always say, this is how the enemy can fool you. On the way to the hospital, I remember thinking I better smoke some cigarettes because they're not going to let me smoke cigarettes in the hospital. And that's how messed up I was. So I got to the hospital. They did all my vitals. They said, man, your heart rate's 145, and my pulse ox was down in the lower or upper 80s at the time. So they admitted me to the Mount Carmel ICU for cardiac care. And I was there about 7 or 8 days. I don't remember, but in that 7 or 8 days, they pumped me full of diuretics because what heart failure does, your heart just can't circulate. And anytime you do anything like to put extra stress on it, like something as simple as salt on your food or too much sodium, your heart works harder and it gets beating. And when you're that sick, like your heart rate can be 110 sitting down and you don't realize it. And then when you try to do anything physical, you just lose your breath and it's a horrible feeling. You're basically drowning in your own body. So during that week I was at Mount Carmel, they pumped me full of what they call Lasix, real high doses in IV Lasix. And I dropped 60 pounds when I left the hospital. That was just water weight from my body not being able to get the water off of me. So I came home and I was still pretty limited. I was on oxygen 24/7. And, the doctors pretty much said, we can't even tell you how to get better. You're looking at about 2 years. I was 41 years old at the time. I have a 7-year-old daughter. I had an ex-wife that didn't want to work. I don't even know if she could work, to be honest. Like she just had no desire to do it. And I'm thinking, man, I just can't die. What's going to happen to this little girl? What's going to happen to my family? And so, it was pretty dark and I went through some bad times. And then one day I just remember I was sitting there with oxygen on and I thought to myself, God, this can't be the way this ends. I'm 41. This just don't feel right. I got doctors prescribing medicine by the grocery bag full, and I'm on oxygen at 4 liters, 24/7. And I'm like, you know what? I just have to believe this isn't it. I have to believe. So one night, and everybody thought I was out of my mind, and I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. I decided, you know what? If this is really what it's going to be, let's find out. So I took the oxygen off and I walked out the front door. And I walked about half a block to the neighbor's mailbox before I had to grab a hold of their mailbox out on the street and kind of stand there a minute. My heart was beating, everything was thumping, and I couldn't breathe. And I remember turning around and walking home after my heart calmed down enough, looking at my front porch. And I remember thinking, wow, that looks like Mount Everest. That's how am I getting up them 4 steps, after walking down there. But I did it. I got up the steps and sat on the couch, and people were upset, telling me I was crazy. And I was like, I don't think so, because I think God's got more for me than just dying on a couch hooked to an oxygen tube. So every night I did that, and every night I got a little further. And like I said, it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. It was probably very reckless. I call it reckless faith, because I had a belief in my heart that, yeah, this isn't how I was going to go. So fast forward a bunch of years, and I went from walking to, walking longer, a couple miles after a couple of years, dropping some weight. And I became obsessed with trying to be as healthy as I can. And so I went to the gym, and I'll tell you, that was a humbling experience, coming off of losing all that weight, being so sick, because I had lifted weights when I was younger, and I was pretty strong back then, but now I was 42, 43 years old, and I was basically a sick man, and trying to go to the gym doing something they told me I shouldn't do. And it was really humbling, but I stuck to it because, like I said, in my heart, I believed that wasn't it for me. And I've been working out ever since. And now it's like doctors don't even know what to say, because the same doctors that told me that I was going to live 2 years at best now are like, wow, that's unbelievable. We don't even have a way to explain this. I said, I do. And I tell them, I said, you just need to tuck me away in the Jesus file, because I know all you doctors have one of those things you can't explain, but things medicine can't explain, just, things that make no sense to you medically. And my doctor laughs about it. And I every time I see him, I tell him, I'm in that file. I know I am. And yeah, nowadays I'm stronger than ever. And it's crazy, because it's almost as if, I don't know if anybody here knows anything about congestive heart failure. Luckily I didn't when I was going through all the bad parts of it. Your best case scenario with a congestive heart failure exacerbated with a 20% ejection fraction is about a 5-year lifespan. Best case scenario. I'm going on 19 years. I recently, when I say recently, I'm talking a couple years ago, I recently had a situation where, I got rid of the first wife that was causing me problems when work and things, my daughter's mom, which, I know that's neither here nor there. And I remarried, and we moved down to Florida. And there's one thing Florida has a lot of is really good food, and like little tiki huts with, fry everything. They fry everything down here. And I had been healthy for so long and I trained so hard, like I was training 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. So in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I'll just try to get big and strong and like what they call it bulking. And then I'll work on cutting it down later. And my wife and I would go out, we'd have hamburgers and all the food that she liked to eat and that I had avoided for all those years. But in my mind, I didn't see a problem because I was working out. Well, this is what I was telling Aaron when I talked to him. I said, you can't out-train a bad diet. They say that, but you really can't do it with congestive heart failure, because no matter how hard you train, if you're eating poorly, or if you're eating foods that basically are restaurant foods and processed heavy sodium. Yeah, I went from lifting weights, being in shape, to it's one point I exacerbated myself, not as badly as I did before, but enough to where I could feel it and it scared me. I had to go to the hospital, and this was 2.5 years ago. I had to go to the hospital, and the doctor told me, yes, you're down to about 30% again. My heart was beating from walking to the car to the hospital door. It was at about 135, and I didn't even feel it. I didn't even know. I was like, I feel fine. I just am having a little tough time breathing. And so they checked my heart. They said, yeah, you know what? It's your heart failure, and it's bad. And we're going to put you on a list to get a pacemaker. And until you can get your pacemaker, we're going to give you this thing called a Zoll Life Vest. This thing is something else. In fact, if I get braver, I'll pull the picture up. I found it, but me and Aaron had some problems with my technical abilities here. But the doctor told me, lift weights again and you're going to die. You can't lift weights again. Anything, if you want to exercise, it should be a light walk, moderate distance, not very far. This was 2.5 years ago. Now I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. I'm stronger than I've ever been. I dumped the life vest. I just gave it back. I told him I didn't want it because what it was doing was it was making me, it was getting in my head and it was making me scared, and it was making me to believe things I shouldn't have believed. It was kind of taking my faith, because it's like they're telling me I need to have this thing to live. And in my heart, I'm believing God doesn't want me to feel this way. I shouldn't have the spirit of fear. That's not what I was given. You know, I'm supposed to have, I'm supposed to prosper. So yeah, I dumped the life vest, and I didn't do it all at once because it got in my head. It freaked me out. It scared me. I would go to the gym with this thing on, and it was kind of like, I make the joke, if anybody remembers Star Trek, Sulu would wear that thing. It was like almost like a tricorder thing that he would wear. And that's what it looked like. I looked like a big bloated Sulu at the gym because I had this thing on that had electrodes hooked to my chest, and I was carrying this thing like a big transistor radio on a strap that went around me. And I did that for the longest time. And then one day I thought, if I'm lifting weights with this thing on, why do I need this thing? I'm not dying. So, you know, I ditched it, and it was the best thing I could ever do. And it's been going strong ever since. So that's where I'm at now. If you want, I can try to pull the picture up that I showed you earlier. Or would you rather I don't? Because I know that my technical ability is not so good.
Well, I don't want you to get disconnected and have to connect again. So
all right,
we can just push for it.
Okay. But it's really funny because a lot of the things that I did in the process, and this is why I know that God was involved heavily in my rehabilitation. A lot of the things I did coming back from heart failure 19 years ago, like I found there's names for it now. They're the swanky things to do, like the fitness things to do. Like one of the things I would do is I was always a big eater when I was a heavy guy. So I knew I couldn't just eat the way I wanted to eat. So what I would do is I would hold off all day, and I would eat dinner at night. That would be it. And now they call that the warrior diet. That's like a big thing. And I understand why it works now. Back then I didn't, but it does a couple things. When you miss the meals in the morning or you fast a little bit, it resets your insulin sensitivity. So the insulin's not spiking. When the insulin's not spiking, your body can release more fat and you can burn more calories. Another thing it does is there's a hormone in your body called ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. That's what happens when, you know, you're just like, all of a sudden you're just getting that hunger pain and you're like, wow, I got to have something to eat. Well, by pushing myself till 6 or 7 o'clock every day to eat, I was taming that little hormone that makes you feel hungry all the time. And it's really funny now because I talk to my wife, and now I eat 2 meals a day, and my wife will say, don't you ever get hungry? And I'm like, you know, I really don't. I just know when it's time to eat. And maybe that's not the healthiest thing, but it works for me. You know, I don't ever have that hunger. I'll go to the gym, I'll work out for my hour and a half, 2 hours, then I'll come home and eat my first meal of the day. And it seems like I've lost more weight that way. I've stayed leaner that way. And I surprisingly am just as strong as I ever was, if not stronger. So I'm all for that, but it's funny because I didn't know those things were anything. I thought it was just something I was doing to try to rush the process, you know. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So, Coach Jimmy, talk about what are some of your recommendations. I know you say that you're a weight loss coach and you help other
Yeah.
people with that. So kind of talk to us about some of the tips that you can give us as a group, because we're involved in fitness. So we
Right.
work out every day, and then we also do Bible study. So talk about the weight loss, some weight loss tips, and then also the emotional side of weight loss. That was one of your key things that I saw on your podcast.
Yeah, and that's the toughest part. And that's the first thing when somebody wants my help, I always ask them, why do you want to lose weight? What's your must? What is your reason? Because that's the most important thing. If there's not a strong enough must, then you're going off willpower. Willpower only lasts so long. You have to figure it out, whether it's your kids, your grandkids, whatever it is. It's got to be more than I just want to wear a smaller pant size. If you can find a reason that's related to your health or somebody you love and care about, it makes a big difference. And I had a pretty good reason. If I didn't do it, I was going to die. That's not everybody has that reason, even though we kind of do, because health is wealth, man. If you don't take care of it, like you say, if we're honoring God with this, but it's also keeping us alive and breathing and running and moving, and even into old age. Like my biggest reason now, I'm pretty sure that this heart failure is not going to get me for several years, but my biggest reason is I don't want to grow old like easily. I want to fight it. I want to be mobile. I want to be able to move. And if that's a pretty strong reason in itself. So that's what I always tell everybody, what's your reason? If it's just that, I don't know, I need to lose a little weight, well, go find a better reason, because that's going to fade as soon as your buddies ask you out for beer and pizza or something. You need to have that reason. And it almost has to, I'm trying to get this quote right, but it has to feel, it has to be more uncomfortable to stay the same than it does to change. And change is always uncomfortable. And when you can find that, you can embrace the discomfort. And I don't want to use this phrase, but I'm going to, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but in the military, there's a phrase called embrace the suck. And, when something sucks, it's usually going to help you. You're going to grow through it. And so if you're comfortable, you need to find that place where you're uncomfortable and learn to love that place, because that's where you're going to lose your weight. That's where you're going to make the progress in the gym. And yeah, if it sucks and you're doing it right, you're going to get results. So that's the one thing I try to tell everybody, and then there's another quote I like that I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger that said it. If it tastes good or it's man-made, spit it out. Eat whole foods, eat, organic stuff, stuff that God put here for us, Doritos and Cheetos and things like that. There's no place for those in a diet where, you're trying to be healthy. And people talk like cheat meals. You're only cheating yourself. That's what I tell everybody I help. Everybody says, well, I'm going to have a cheat meal on Sunday. Well, you're just cheating yourself, man. You're not cheating me. You're not cheating anybody else. You're cheating yourself. So that's the way I try to keep that philosophy, that this is a ongoing thing. This is a lifestyle. It has to be your lifestyle in order for it to succeed. If you're looking at it as an end game, like I'm going to do it till I get to a size 32 pants and then I'm going to go back to the way I was, you might as well stay the same, because you're just going to get back there. Probably you're going to go from like a size 40 pants to a 32, probably back up to a 42 when you get to your end game. So it has to be a lifestyle. That's the only way it works. And as far as not just diet and exercise, but So I tell people, as far as spirituality, that has to be your lifestyle too. You can't only talk to God when you need something. You have to have that relationship with God where, it's, hey God, I do this every morning. And something I do, and I actually, years ago, when it didn't mean anything to me, I got my minister, or I'm an ordained minister, and I did it kind of as a goof to like marry people and my friends on the beach and stuff. And that's all I ever looked at it as. But when God pulled me out of that heart failure, especially the second time when they gave me the life vest, they're talking about putting in a pacemaker and things like that, I was like, that's not honoring God. That's kind of a goof that I have that, or I'm ordained and I'm just using it for silly things. So like every morning I wake up, before my feet hit the floor, me and God have a long conversation. As soon as I hit my social media, before I do anything on my Coach Jimmy page or anything like that, I find 2 to 3 Bible verses. I put them on my personal page, just so my friends see it. And I always marked it, hey, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be here today. And so that's become a really big part of my life. I know maybe I went off topic here a little bit, and I apologize. But yeah, that's it. It's like I tell everybody, when they ask what saved my life, I tell them it's faith, fitness, and perseverance. First was faith, because without that, the other 2 don't mean anything. If I didn't have the faith, I wouldn't have tried to become fit, and I wouldn't have kept going when they told me to stop. So that's my 3 most important things. And that's what I try to tell everybody. If you have those 3 things, everything else will fall into place. And as far as diet, there's a lot more to it than just the numbers, the scale, the calories. You can supercharge your diet by learning how to control your hormones, like your insulin, your ghrelin, and things like that. And even the medical communities has found that out with these GLP-1 injections, that basically your body does the same thing. You just need to learn how to tame it a little bit, and you don't need those Ozempic injections or all the other ones, Mounjaro, whatever they are, because your body makes all that stuff. It's just you need to learn how to control the hormones to supercharge that so your diet works better for you. So I'm probably rambled off topic here, and I apologize.
No, it's okay. No. The information you're giving us is very vital. The audience is definitely responding to you. I don't know if you're seeing the emojis.
All I see is everybody's picture just kind of staring at me, and they're nobody, because they're just pictures. But
yeah, exactly. But we're all paying attention.
I think that's what's making me talk so fast, because I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just looking at pictures and don't know if anybody's even getting anything I'm saying. So.
Oh yeah, they're all responding. I don't know if you can see the emojis and things in the chat, but they're definitely responding to what you're saying. Would you like to get a couple questions in?
Sure.
Okay. All right, guys. If you guys have any questions for Coach Jimmy, go ahead and chime in now. That way we can utilize his time. I guess I could start out by saying, with your whole journey, Coach Jimmy, how has spirituality played a major role in your weight loss, in your entire weight loss journey?
It's everything. I mean, literally, it's everything. I mean, because, we're imperfect, and like, if I was to rely on my own strength, I probably wouldn't even be here. God played everything in my journey. He made me believe that there was something after what the doctors told me. Keeps me going day after day. It just, every time I turn around, I don't so much, like I used to feel in the beginning, it was like tough, because I was thinking I was doing it in my own strength. And then I realized, no, God's here with me. He's got me. And, so it's like, I don't even think about it anymore. Like I said earlier, my wife and I joked, she goes, don't you get hungry? I'm like, no. And it's become such a I don't know, such a relationship that I have with God, that Yeah, he's everything, man. Without him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't have lost the weight. I wouldn't be as strong as I am. I wouldn't be 59 years old. And, they told me in 2 years, I wasn't going to live longer than 2 years. And I watched that 7-year-old daughter of mine grow up and give me a beautiful 3-year-old grandson who lives with me. And he's like my whole world.
Wonderful. All right, guys, the floor is open for questions. Just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll go ahead and call you on. Dee Dee, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Coach. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. One of the most fascinating things I've heard is that you began this journey 19 years ago. So, present day, do you find yourself still working out, or I don't want to say dieting because you didn't use that word, but that's the only word that comes to mind. Do you still do it with the same level of intensity as you did when you were initially trying to get the weight off?
Yeah, even more so. And that's a good question, because when 2.5 years ago, when I exacerbated again, they literally, first of all, they didn't know how I was still alive then, from the 19 years ago. But yeah, I had to really dig deep into things I learned, because heart failure is so temperamental, with sodium and other things, even so much as like water, how much water you consume. Which now I'm not on a water restriction. I'm just the sodium. The doctor actually told me that I could have about 4 times the sodium that I eat now. My diet is extreme. I eat nothing but, I can name on less than 2 hands what I eat in a day. I eat oatmeal, eggs, sodium-free peanut butter. I eat salmon and rice at night, and that's it. And I eat twice a day. And I probably maybe take in 600 grams of sodium, which I think I was allowed to have 2,000. But it's really strange because the diet's so tight that any deviation from it, I can almost feel it, whether it's, without getting too graphic. I mean, I can feel like, even in bathroom time, you know what I mean? I know that's embarrassing to say that, but like when your diet's that tight and you eat the same things and you have to do like the diet I have, I don't think my wife tells me, I'm sure if anybody was under the same situation as me, they could do it. But my wife says not everybody could do that. That's why I'm still here, because, I've learned over the years that, yeah, this is just my way of life now. But yeah, I'm pretty extreme with that. And my wife will even yell at me too, because I'm even more extreme with the working out, especially in the last month. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to throw this out there now. We can circle back, but I'm in the running for Mr. Muscle and Fitness 2026. They got my story, they got my pictures. And so for the last month, I've been like a maniac in the gym, trying to get myself in shape in case I win. My wife says I'm going to win. She's real optimistic, but I know that competition's pretty stiff. But yeah, I keep it pretty tight, and it's become more of I go to the gym regardless. If I'm sick, I go to the gym. If I'm depressed, I go to the gym. It's my must. I have to do it. So,
Coach Jimmy, can you walk us through a day in your life from when you get up in the morning, your routine,
sure.
all the way to when it's back time to go back to bed? Can you walk us through a day in your life?
Yeah. So I get up. My grandson, like I said, my grandson lives with me. I get him up. I get him ready for school. I feed him his breakfast. I take him to daycare. So I get up usually an hour before he does. I'll have a cup of black coffee. If he's not rummaging around, I'll go out to my garage and jump on my treadmill, and I'll do a mile just to kind of get myself going before I do anything else. And then I'll get him ready for school, drop him at school. Then I'll head over to the Y. I work out at the gym at the Y. And I'll be there for a couple hours. I'll come home. I'll eat my first meal of the day, probably 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then I haven't quit my day job. I'm not making that much coaching, but I'm working on it. I'll run my appointments. I'm an appliance repairman. And then I'll come home. Usually 8 o'clock, I'll eat my last meal of the day, and then, I'll do some work, and then I'll just kind of call it a day. But I spend a lot of time with my grandson, spend a lot of time at the gym and with my wife, and pretty boring life actually, but I love it. So.
All right. Is anybody else can ask a couple questions to Coach Jimmy? Let's see. Let me look on the board. Ludi.
Coach Jimmy, good evening. I want to ask you if you have any residual of congestive heart failure, or you have any residual of the swelling and in the legs that you mentioned.
I don't now. I worked that pretty hard. So once I got all the weight off after the second exacerbation a couple years ago, I'm very aware of it. I do still take some diuretic medicine, very little, and I watch my sodium intake. But I also found that when I exacerbated, and I'm not proud to admit this, but I'm going to admit it. When I went into exacerbation, not only was my diet horrible, but I started skipping leg day. I thought, like, well, I don't need to work my legs. I just want to, have a bigger upper body. And I realized that by doing legs and calves, that my heart was pushing the blood down to those extremities, and it was keeping that, from becoming exacerbated or full of fluid. And so now I train legs pretty consistently and pretty hard, and I don't really have any residual. I mean, there's days where I still will have maybe I don't want to say breathing problem, but maybe I'm a little raspy, or I feel it a little more, but it's usually not very often. And if I do feel something like that, I'll kind of look back and go, okay, what have I done to make this happen? Or did I eat more fish than I should have, or did I have a little more oatmeal? What did I do? And the other thing is I have an enlarged heart. That's one of the reasons my heart went into heart failure, and that's something that can't heal. I mean, I still have that. And so when I first went back to training after the time a couple of years ago, I had to start differently, because the doctors were all telling me, you can't train. If you train, you're going to die. If you lift weights, you're going to die. And it was quite a conversation with my wife to allow me to go back to the gym after hearing the doctors say that. But she knew that's where I was happy, and that's where I was going to find my way back to being the man that she married. So I started going to the gym, but I was only going 3 days a week, and I was keeping it not light, but a lot of machine work and a lot of things I would have not done when I was training before. So it took a while to get back to where I'm at now. But I hope that answered the question. I know I'm kind of rambling.
Yes, you answered the question. I have another question.
Yeah.
How, like two questions in one, but how is your sleep habit now? And do you weigh yourself? How often you weigh yourself?
Yeah, my sleep is bad. And I'll tell you, because they got me on a couple medicines. I mean, I don't want to say bad. Like, I know what you're asking. When I was in exacerbation, I would sleep an hour here, an hour there, and I was up all night. It was horrible. I remember. And then I couldn't figure out how I was running on such a little bit of sleep, but I was never feeling good. Yeah, I sleep pretty good. I get up a few times in the night to use the bathroom because of the medications. It's funny because the medications seem to make you run to the bathroom more at night than it does during the day. I don't know why. So I'm up a couple times in the night, but I sleep probably 6 to 7 hours a day. I'm up early every day just because of my responsibilities, but yeah, I sleep good. I sleep a lot better than I did when I was in the exacerbated failure.
Yes. And how often do you weigh yourself? I know that people that have congestive heart failure or heart failure,
Yes.
they have to weigh themselves certain times.
They told me that I should do it every day, and I'll
Mhm.
tell you, I don't do that. I weigh myself maybe once a week. I just learned that, that's feeding into the fear of it. If I feel bad, I'll get on the scale, or if I've learned to, like, last time I was exacerbated, I get this feeling in my legs where it's like a burning in my shins and in my calves for no apparent reason. When I feel that, I'll jump on the scale to make sure I haven't went up. But no, about once a week I'll get on the scale. There's been times I've went a couple, 3 weeks, and when I jump on, I'm the same weight or maybe sometimes less. So I've been really fortunate, and I blame that all on the diet that I stick to. Like I said, my diet's pretty strict and pretty on point.
And one last question I want to ask you.
Sure.
Do you attend therapy for the heart failure?
No,
Okay.
and I take 3 medications for it still, and they're the bare minimum medications. And I take a carvedilol 3.125 milligrams. I take a furosemide 20 milligram in the morning, and I take a half, and I can't pronounce this one, but I'm going to try a half of a Spirona something. It sounds like an Italian dish or something, but it's a potassium sparing diuretic. I take half of one, so it's barely anything.
Okay.
So,
Coach Jimmy, when you're helping people with their weight loss goal, are you focusing more on weightlifting, cardio, or dieting?
it depends on the person, to be really honest. The first thing I do is we work on your mindset, because that's where you got to be. Everything starts there. If somebody was like athletic, I have a guy I help in Toledo, Ohio, and he played football, in which a lot of guys go through this, like they play either college ball or high school ball. And then, they're used to eating large amounts of food because they need to power those big workouts to be strong. But when they quit being an athlete, they don't quit eating a large amount of food, and then they, get overweight. So I use, like with him, for example, we do weightlifting. I have another guy in Lakeland, same thing. He was an athlete, and he quit 10 years off of training anything. I got him doing weights and cardio, but it just depends on the person. Obviously, like somebody that's never done weights, it's probably better just put them on the treadmill or get them out walking or something like that. Because I think you have to have the right mindset, or you at least have to have some kind of you just have to have that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to throw somebody onto a weightlifting routine and they hurt and they never want to come back. So when I do it with somebody that's never done it before, it's very gradual. Like, the workout may seem ridiculous, but we're just going through the movements before we learn to actually do any kind of strength training. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right. Anybody else have questions? Ask them now while we have them on the line. All right. Anybody else have any other questions that they would like to ask Coach Jimmy? Got a bunch of thumbs up here and
Yeah. Thumbs up are good, man. I like thumbs up.
bunch of hearts and thumbs up you're putting on there. I have
I'll
Dee
take
Dee person.
Yes, Coach Jimmy, you lost a lot of weight. And I
Yeah.
know earlier, Aaron mentioned that on your podcast, you spoke about the psychological effect of losing that much weight. If you can just briefly explain what that's like to have dropped. I don't even think I heard you say the exact number, but I imagine it was a lot.
It was the exact numbers around 235 pounds. Yeah, I went through a lot of different emotions with this. I mean, obviously they mature as I mature, but there's always that, like, I suffer a lot from what you call like imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Like I'm still living in the heavy guy's body, and I don't understand. Sometimes there's days where I feel great and I feel like bulletproof, like, hey, I'm the man, you know what I mean? But then there's days like just doing this podcast, on this panel with you guys, I felt that insecurity coming back, and it was like, wow, I hope they like me, or wow, I hope, it's just that it's a whole mindset thing where you feel vulnerable. You feel like, and I go through this a lot with different people I work with too. Like there'll be people that I'm thinking, wow, like I'm helping this guy. I'm in my mind. Some days I can't get past that obese guy. Like I still see myself that way sometimes, and it's tough. It does a lot to your self-esteem, and you really have to work on the mental aspect of it. And I think that's where like my spirituality comes in, because like I say, I have a relationship with God every day, and I ask him for the strength to continue and the strength to do the things I need to do. And let me see myself the way others see me, instead of seeing myself as that heavy set guy that was just kind of tucked away in himself. But yeah, it's tough. It's very tough, and unless you've been overweight like that, it's tough to even try to understand it. I've tried to explain it like to my wife, because she looks at me sometimes and she's like, why do you act like that? You act like you're not good enough, or why do you act like, you're shy, or and I'm like, it's just, I don't know. I have days like that. And, but recognizing it, I guess, is the biggest part of it. When I can recognize the fact that that's what it is, and I can try to work through it, then I, like they say, some days I have to fake it until I can make it. You know what I mean? I got to pretend I'm this guy and not that guy. But then there's days where I forget that guy existed, and I know that maybe sounds a little confusing, but from an emotional standpoint, yeah, if you've ever been heavy, or like, it's tough to see yourself in your new skin. So
Speaking about skin, Coach Jimmy, when you lose that much weight, I mean, did you have to get any kind of surgeries for skin?
I did it, and I'm really fortunate, and even my doctor is trying to figure that out. Now I do have, I'm very sensitive about it, but I have my lower stomach is tough. It's there's a lot of skin there. It's just kind of, I can play with it. It's really kind of gross, but I don't have the skin. Like I've seen a lot of guys that are on my coach page that they've lost a lot of weight like that. I have one guy that, man, he's incredible, but I don't even know that I would want to lose the weight, because he's stuck with so much skin. He looks like he melted. And I just thank Lord I didn't end up like that, because that's a tough thing to deal with. I feel like mine is a tough thing to deal with. And I would love to have the surgery to do it, but I'm 60 years old. My wife loves me the way I am. And it's like, it's just kind of a reminder of where I came from. And honestly, if anybody ever doubts how much weight I lost, I pull it out and I'll show it to them. I mean, I don't really feel like showing it on a podcast, but yeah, that's about where I'm at. And I have some issues like through here. My chest is pretty good up here. But like down here, no matter how hard I work out, I still have a little bit of poof that I can't get rid of. And my lower back, where like love handles would be, I do a lot of back exercise, I do a lot of oblique exercises, and I still have that in the back, which I hate, but I know it's just skin. There's nothing I can do with it. So I just learned to live with it as part of that emotional, the depth of the emotions of trying to deal with, being who I was in the past, I guess.
All right, we have another question for you, Ludi.
Coach, do you have moments to yourself, like you go hiking? Do you go sit somewhere and look at the beautiful things that God create for us?
Oh,
And do you sit and meditate on those things?
absolutely. I mean, not probably as often as I would like to because I'm raising a 2.5-year-old grandson, but yeah, absolutely. And, I find the beauty in everything that God's created. My wife and I, we just recently came back from Puerto Rico, and it's absolutely breathtaking to go there and look out at the sea over the mountains. And I mean, we were out in Arizona a year and a half ago, and I literally said to my wife, we were standing on the bridge that goes between Arkansas and, or no, I'm sorry, Arizona and Nevada, looking out over the Hoover Dam and looking out over the mountain range. And I was like, if anybody can honestly say there is not a God, they need to come look at this. It's just amazing. Um, there's so much beauty, even here in Florida where I'm at. You look at the Atlantic Ocean and you're like, wow, that's just incredible. Like, I don't know, like we sure live on a beautiful planet. Like, there's so much natural beauty here. And it's you can find it in every part of this country, like from the woods of Michigan to, Puerto Rico to Nevada. I mean, yeah, I've always enjoyed being outside, even just sometimes sitting in a lawn chair in my front yard, just listening to the crickets is pretty amazing.
Coach Jimmy,
Yes.
if someone was to ask you, what are 2 or 3 tips that you can give us as we are working on our fitness journey, both mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically? What are your top 2 or 3 tips that you can give us as we're trying to work on our physical journey?
Sure. I would say that number one is find your must. Find the reason that's going to get you in the gym or get you on the treadmill or keep you out of the refrigerator. That's the number one tip. When you find that and it feels strong enough, that's where you got to be. You got to live at that place. That must is your home. You live there. Second thing is, and a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I've had good results. So I always tell everybody, no breakfast. Get away from breakfast. Breakfast is bad. I mean, and I know people are going to disagree, but if you're on a weight loss journey, hold off a couple hours after you wake up. Just drink some black coffee or some tea. Let that insulin reset. Because the minute you eat in the morning, especially if you eat a heavy carb meal, you spike that insulin, and then you're hungry in a couple hours. So if you can ride it out, and especially on a weight loss journey, you're okay. You're not going to starve. So ride it out till 11 o'clock. If you wake up at 8, ride it out till 11 o'clock, drink some coffee, drink some tea, then have a high protein meal there. You'd be amazed how that insulin's going to level off and you're going to be less hungry and you're going to be more focused, because the minute you make that insulin spike, your hormones go crazy. And, I know there's a lot of debate on that. And I catch a lot of flack on a lot of the forums that I'm on when I say that from people, but I've found that works for me, and it still works for me. Like I said, I don't get hungry, and that's a blessing, because there was a time where I couldn't get enough to eat. And then another thing I tell everybody is, when you're in the gym, be in the gym, or you're on the treadmill, or you're doing your exercise, or even just taking your walk. Be there, be present, enjoy it. And make that the purpose. Don't be in the gym and do a set and then be on Facebook or be texting your buddy or taking selfies. Be in the gym, man. Or just, if you're on a walk, leave your phone at home. Just take a walk. Enjoy the sounds and be present for yourself. You're worth it. So that's what I would say. Just those 3 things. Especially though, find your must. That's the absolute must. Find your must. It's got to be strong, and it's got to be something that'll hold you to it and hold you accountable to you, because you have to be the one person you can always count on. Don't break promises to yourself. Make a promise, keep a promise. Celebrate every little win. Man, if you were going for some Haagen-Dazs in the freezer and you turned around, that's a win. Congratulate yourself. if you were thinking about skipping the gym and you went, that's a win, man. You know, we have too many things in this world that are going to show us the negative side or tell us that we're not good enough or we're not who we need to be. So if nobody else is patting you on the back, man, reach back there and pat yourself on the back every time you do something you can be proud of yourself for. Because when you do that, you develop integrity with yourself. When you develop integrity with yourself, then you learn to trust yourself. When you can trust yourself, there's no stopping you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Very good point, Coach Jimmy. All right. We only have time for one more question, guys, because we're at 8 of the hour right now. So does anybody have one last question for Coach Jimmy before we wrap it up? Someone that didn't get a chance to ask a question. All right.
All right.
Katrina? I think I saw Katrina put her hand up. Sheila? Or was it Katrina? Did you have a question, Katrina?
Sheila lit up, I think.
Okay. Go ahead, Sheila.
Hi, Coach Jimmy. I'm really amazed with your testimony, and it's great. And just to let you know, you are enough.
Thank you.
It's amazing, and your story is so amazing. Could you tell me just a little bit about your ministry as it relates to your coaching? What kinds of things, or it seems like you might do it virtually. Do you do it virtually, in person? Tell me a little bit more about that.
I do a lot of virtual. I do a lot of social media stuff. I do a lot of like videos, TikTok, and things like that. You know, I have a few people that I work with via Zoom, but right now I'm just trying to develop more to just develop it. But you know, I keep it, like I said, faith, fitness, and perseverance. That's, you know, that's my thing, and faith is always first. So, you know, some people will shy away from you when you try to use that in your coaching, but that's okay, because those aren't the people that I want to help. You know, I'll help anybody that needs help, but yeah, you have to have a relationship with God. There has to be a relationship with God, because, you know, we were never meant to do anything in our own strength. We were supposed to rely on God's strength. So, you know, that's kind of my whole deal. And like I said, I probably don't get as many views on TikTok because I keep it that way, but that's okay. That's okay. I keep true to what I believe. So I don't know. I hope I answered your question.
You did. Thank
Okay.
you.
I have a question for you, real quick. I can't see where you're from, but that last name, I had a very dear friend that had that same last name. Are you related to a man named Larry?
Not that I'm aware of. That's my married name. He had a small family, but I'm located in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, because yeah, he's in Detroit, Michigan. I didn't know. I just saw
Okay.
the name is spelled the same way, but that was a long shot, but I figure I'd ask.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, we've taken up enough of Coach Jimmy's time. Coach Jimmy, we really, really appreciate you coming by and sharing your story with us. It's very inspiring, and we just thank you very much. And we just want to say that we hope that God blesses you as you continue to inspire other people in their weight loss journey. And we just thank you for sharing your story and answering our questions.
Absolutely.
We would love to invite you back to one of our sessions. Again, we are on here between 7 o'clock and 8:15 every day, Monday through Sunday, with our 7-day fitness and spiritual challenge. So definitely continue to follow us, and don't be a stranger. Come by and stop by again and chat with us again, okay?
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Coach
All right.
Jimmy.
Thank you.
you. Hey,
have a
I'm
good
going to
evening.
Thank you,
send,
Coach Jimmy.
you're very welcome. I appreciate meeting all of you. I'm going to send you that picture. I don't know if you want to use it for anything or if you can put it in an edit, but I
Okay.
just didn't want to take the chance because I didn't want to lose you
Yeah,
guys.
go ahead and send it to me. Go ahead and send it to me through the email, and then I'll go ahead and share it with the team.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Well, you have a good evening, Coach Jimmy. Thank you so much. We're not going to hold you any further. We're just going to do some more administrative stuff. But you have a good evening, and thank you so much for coming by.
All right. God bless.
God
All right.
bless you too, Coach Jimmy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we had a opportunity to experience a life coach and his wonderful story, and that just goes to show you guys that, you know, we it's different walks of life, different situations in life that we deal with, but the core value is God. The core value is God, and he talked about a lot about that during his story about how God, inspired him to move forward, keep pushing. The doctor said he only had a couple days left to live, and he refused to just sit there. He refused to just sit there. He allowed God to work in his life, and he told the doctors, no, I'm not just going to sit back and let you guys tell me I'm going to fall off the face of this earth. And he's still here to tell the story. 19 years later, he's still here to tell the story. So you guys should look at that and say, you know what? God is amazing. We've been talking about faith all week. We have to have faith in an awesome God, a mountain moving God. And I just want to be able to just bring people here to inspire you guys to keep pushing forward in our journey for Get Fit for God, with your weight loss journey, your fitness journey, your spiritual journey, your emotional journey. Just keep having faith in God 100%. Dennis G, I saw that you clicked in just now. Did you have something to say? You got to take yourself off mute.
Um, can I hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything, but I can't help myself. You know what I mean? And this just bring me back to what the Bible study is for this week. That the way the man present himself and everything, it comes back to what you were saying. That faith without work is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he shared his story and everything. He refused to give up. He refused to accept just what the doctors told him, and that really inspired me. On a personal basis. I don't know about anybody else, but that I believe that what faith is all about. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the work, and I really, really enjoy this presentation. That from time to time, some questions come to my mind, but the way he presents himself and just keep flowing. I said, I don't have to ask no question. I give somebody else the time. But that's my answer already. And
Yeah.
I'm really, really thankful for this session.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. All right. Does anybody have anything to add to today? If they'd like to say anything, I want to open up the floor to anybody that would like to add anything to whatever Ghost Jimmy may have said or how the session may have inspired you. You can speak now if you'd like. Didi?
Yeah, I just want to kind of piggyback off of what Dennis G said. The one thing that stayed in my mind the entire time that he was talking is, we are all beginners. We are all beginners. And even though he's getting ready to enter this big competition and he's made all these strides with his fitness and health journey, I just always circle back to the fact that this man was living a life that wasn't a life worth living. He couldn't do his daily activities, be there for his family, and to see that he had the motivation at his heaviest, at his sickest, to still push forward. For me, that's motivation, not just in my fitness journey, but just in life in general. When stuff is hard and it looks hopeless, you just need a little bit of faith to help you push forward. So I definitely hope that Coach Jimmy has a chance to watch this replay and see all of the emojis and all the people that he's inspired. I know he didn't get the chance to really see that interaction, but Coach Jimmy, if you're watching, thank you so much. It was heartfelt, and I'm going to take that moving forward.
All right. Jasmine?
Yes, I was gonna say I enjoyed it a lot too, and the way that God moved in his life, and just everything that he's been through, but God still was right there with him, and he's motivated me to work out more and do more things with my body. But I think you did a really good job. I enjoyed the presentation a lot.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Anybody else? Would you?
Yes, I love when he said that he take moments to think and take moments to meditate and so on. It's a good feeling to we stop and think about what God is doing in our lives and so on. So I particularly admire that.
Wonderful. Sylvia?
Just wanted to say, yes, it was very, very inspiring. I really enjoyed it.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, guys. Well, that ends our Wellness Wednesday session for this week. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. Again, I want to bring you guys different views from different walks of life, different types of professionals. Um, you know, I want to bring you people that can give you something to think about, something that would inspire you, something that will allow you guys to keep pushing forward because Get Fit for God, we are a family, we're a community, and we want to continue to encourage each other in our spiritual journey and in our physical journey, in our fitness journey. So this is just one of those moments again that we're just sharing with one another. And I hope that you guys can take some of this information tonight and pray about it with God and have this to inspire you that, you know, so other people's situation could be worse than yours. But, you know, the faith that they have, which is our lessons for this week, the faith that they have that God can move mountains in their life, you know, should inspire you that even the small things that we're asking God for, as long as we do like what Dennis G has mentioned, as long as we work, you know, faith without work is dead. So we have to work. We have to do our part. Faith is a lifestyle. Faith is what you do for others. You know, faith is showing love to others. Faith is honoring God and trusting him that whatever his decision is to deliver us or not, it's his decision and we should respect it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this tonight. Give me about 5 more minutes of your time and then we will call it a night. All right, I want to recognize all of my visitors and guests, my returning visitors and guests. What I'm going to do is just call your name real quick. Just tell me who invited you and then just a little bit about you. You don't have to come on camera. You can just tell me a little bit about you. That way we can just know who you are and recognize you, okay? All right, so the person I see on here, it says no name. So I'm not sure who that is. Name not available. If you know that's you, you can come on off mute because I don't know your name. It's one person on here that has name not available. Let's see. Okay, well maybe they're not hearing me. The next person I see on here is Charles. Hey Charles, how are you, sir?
Yeah, good night. Not bad. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Okay.
I'm from Belize. Lucky from Lucky Strike Village. In the
Okay.
Belize.
Who invited you?
Lou D.
Lou D. Okay. All right.
Amy
Amy.
from the same village.
Yeah, my schoolmate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my schoolmate.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Invited
Okay.
me.
Well, we wanna thank you so much for showing up, Charles. We really appreciate you coming and participating on our Wellness Wednesday. We do want to invite you to our normal session where we do our fitness and Bible study. We typically do that Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. But we do want to invite you to each day of our session. That way you can enjoy the lessons and so forth. So please come back again. Thank you so much for coming today, okay?
Okay, thanks very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, let me look on my list here. Let me see if I see anybody else. The only other name I saw is that person that says no name. So obviously, if you know that's you, and I haven't recognized you, if you don't mind jumping on to the mic real quick and introducing yourself and who invited you. Luding?
Rita,
Rita, yeah, I'm going to recognize Rita in a moment. I think Rita has been here before.
she's a returning. Yeah.
Yes. I'm looking at our first time guest. So I see this no name not available. Okay. All right. Well, I want to recognize our returning visitors. Rita, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Welcome back. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
to our
you.
Wellness Wednesday.
Yeah,
Uh,
sometimes I cannot enjoy because the meeting because I have two jobs now, and
okay.
sometimes I am really tired.
I understand. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Well,
But
on those
today I
days,
say to your mom, I say, no, you send to me, and then I'm gonna be there.
wonderful, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
on those days that you're not tired and you have a little bit of extra time and you want to just join us, feel free. Just ask
Okay.
me to send you the link, and then you can definitely come and join us. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Come again.
Okay.
Denicia, how you doing? Denicia, how you doing?
Good,
All right. You been doing all right?
good India.
Yeah. How you feeling? I know you were sick the other day. You feeling better?
I'm still sick.
Real sick? Oh man. Well, we're gonna pray for you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much for showing up and coming back again. Keep coming, okay? You're almost there. Keep coming. Salome, hi.
Hello, hello.
Hi. You having a big trip coming up soon.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I really enjoyed tonight.
Good. Well, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing you in person. So,
Yeah. Hello, Charles. This is Salome from Lucky Strike. It seems like the whole Lucky Strike village is on.
okay.
Yeah, it's we who are, it's we from this area who is running things now.
You notice?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thanks to
because
Amy.
yeah.
yes,
Okay.
and Alice was here, but she had something to do tonight.
Oh,
But
Okay.
okay.
she'll
Good
be
to
up
hear you,
here.
Charles.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And let me just take a look at my names on here. Okay, I think that's all of our visitors. If I didn't mention your name and you're a visitor or a guest, if you don't mind jumping on and saying hello really quick, just so we could recognize you and wish you well with this. Okay. All right. Well, let me jump on to our legacy members. All right, the backbone of our community and family. We have Dee Dee on. We have Sheila. We have Dennis G. We have Bernadine. We have Marie. We have Sylvia. We have Lou D. We have Jasmine. Wow, our list is getting long here. All right. I know I saw Janiyah here earlier, so that was the other person I saw that was here too. Janiyah was on board too. So Janiyah, thank you very much for showing up. I'm sure my granddaughter probably got her going crazy. Uh-oh. Yeah, my granddaughter probably got her going crazy. But all right. Good job, guys. All right. So next is our food challenge. Who did their food challenge today? Who drank up to a gallon of water? Marie, did I recognize you? I think I saw your name too.
Yes, you did. I came in late. Sorry about that. Good night, everybody. I was on the
Okay.
bus.
All
Good
right.
night.
I just want to make sure I recognized you.
Yes, you
Okay.
did.
Wonderful. So who did their food challenge for today? Who drank up to a gallon of water today? Dee Dee, what'd you do today?
I didn't do as well as yesterday, but I did have 4 16-ounce bottles of water today. So I'm going
Wow.
backwards, but I'm still trying.
Wonderful. All right, Lou D.
I drank 240 ounces of water. didn't have time to drink more because I, gone out and I did a lot of things. So I didn't get a chance to drink more. But 240 ounce, which is 80 ounce of water I drank today.
That's good. Bernadine, how'd you do today? Bernadine, how'd you do today with your water challenge? I guess that means you did good. All right. Sheila?
Okay, I didn't do as well as yesterday. I was really motivated. Today it was just no excuse. I just didn't do as well, but the night is still young, so I'm trying to drink at least another 32 ounces.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's right. The night is still young. You can still catch up a little bit. Okay. Good job. Good job. Marie, how about you?
I drank mine every day. Every day I drink a gallon of water or more. So it's not anything hard for me.
Wow, so it's not up to for you. It is a gallon.
Yes,
Gotcha.
every day. It's
Still
coconut water and regular water.
okay. Sylvia?
I can say I drank half. I didn't drink the whole thing because I
You
couldn't work and run through the clinic and keep going to the bathroom. So, but like
yeah.
I said, the night's still young. I can still drink some more.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Up to, huh? Up to. Yeah, I
Yes,
got you.
thank you.
Dennis G, did you drink any water today?
Man, you know me. You have to remind me sometime to do that. Because my job, right, the community that I serve, I have like over 200 residents, and I'm 9 buildings. And sometimes I gotta run, jump in my vehicle and go back to the office. But I could say that I did drunk at least about 7 bottles.
No, okay. That's a lot. 7 bottles is a lot. 90 plus ounces. So that's good. All right. Okay, good job, guys. I'm really proud of you guys. If I missed, Jasmine, I'm sorry. Jasmine, what about you?
Oh, I drank about 2 bottles today.
2 bottles? Okay,
Yeah.
you're getting there. All right.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Okay. All
I've
right,
been doing
guys.
a fruit challenge. I've been eating my strawberries and my apples.
That was last week. We're on a new
No, but
week.
I'm still doing it.
Well, no, I want it. That's good that you're doing it, but we're on a whole new challenge.
Oh, okay.
She said, I'm still eating my fruit. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, I want to encourage you guys to continue to drink water. Again, water flushes out those toxins out your body. One thing I wanted to mention that if you have, any kind of kidney issues or any kind of other issues, be careful on the amount of water that you drink, because again, you may damage your kidneys for drinking too much water if you have kidney issues or, some heart issues or anything like that as well. So be very careful with that. All right, guys. So I want to make mention to our member of the week, Jasmine. We asked her on the Get Fit for God Facebook page, we asked her at what age does she accept Jesus Christ into her life. So to see the answer to that question, go on to our Get Fit for God Facebook page. She has a beautiful picture on there. Go ahead and check it out, comment, like, and share, and celebrate the member of the week, Jasmine. Okay? All right, guys. Follow us again for next week. We have another Wellness Wednesday panelist set up for next week. So for those that joined us today for Wellness Wednesday, please come again for Wellness Wednesday next week. We have another great panelist that is lined up. So definitely I'm excited about it. Definitely come with your questions and your notebook and pen, ready to learn some wonderful tips and information. Okay? All right. Tomorrow is our brand new segment tomorrow. Our brand new segment tomorrow is called Testimony Thursday. Testimony Thursday. So for those who want to know what that is, we are allowing all of our members to come online in between our workout and give a 5 to 7 minute testimony on how God has worked miracles in your life. And like I mentioned before, everyone should have a testimony. Everyone should have a testimony. Even you breathing in and out, that's a testimony. Okay? So my expectation for my Get Fit for God legacy members, guests, community is to have a testimony. Again, try to keep it between 5 and 7 minutes. That way you give other people the opportunity to be able to share their testimony as well. All right? We're strictly doing testimony tomorrow. There's no Bible study, only workout and testimony. Okay? All right, guys. Last but not least, like, share, and follow us on Get Fit for God. If you are a guest or a visitor today and you haven't gone to our Facebook page yet, Get Fit for, the number 4, God on Facebook, please go there and hit the follow button. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you visiting us. So we're trying to get to a certain number of followers on our Facebook page. So please go to our Facebook page and click follow. Also go to our YouTube page and click subscribe. That way you can see when we have videos that we post. Every time we do a live session, we actually record that and we post it on our YouTube page. So definitely go there, check out the replay. If you've missed something today, you can always go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page to see the replay. All right. I want to thank everybody for that. All right, guys, that ends our session. But before we go, we always ask, is there any prayer requests? Does anybody have any prayer requests? Any prayer requests? Ludi?
Unspoken prayer.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Any other prayer requests? Any other prayer requests? All right. I take it everybody's blessed then, if that's the case. All right. Let's see. I'm just looking on the list here. Everybody, oh, we got another one, Sylvia.
Just a prayer of gratitude for all that God has done for us.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Anybody want to pray? Anybody like to pray? Don't try to cut your camera off now. Don't try to switch anything off. I'm looking right at you.
I'll pray.
Oh, okay. We have a volunteer. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord, Father God, in the name of Jesus, I thank you. I praise you. I lift you up, Lord. All those that need prayer and desire prayer and did not say anything, Lord, asking you to grant them what they need according to your will and your purpose in their life. Lord, asking you to keep them, to cover them, Lord. And the unspoken prayer, those that are sick and unable to be here, our loved ones, our family, Lord, asking you to bless them, to keep them, to draw them closer to you. Give us a deeper relationship with you, Lord. In the name of Jesus, help us to always acknowledge you in everything that we do. In Jesus' name, have your way. Keep us, cover us until we meet again. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
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 That ends our session. That ends our session. Everybody, you guys are all dismissed. If you'd like to stay back for a couple minutes to chit chat and jump on camera if you like, you're welcome to do so. But everyone is dismissed. Have a good night.
Good night,
You
everyone.
too.